Today we welcome back to our program Dr. William J. Connell, the LaMotta Professor of Seton Hall University. Good to see you again, Bill. Thanks for coming and joining us.
Thanks for the invitation, Brian. Glad to be here.
Last time we talked about the Italian hero Garibaldi. Today, and we talked about his involvement in the American Civil War and little-known ways that Italians have had a great impact on this country. What's been the lasting impact of Machiavelli?
Oh, Machiavelli. Fascinating how he's influenced American history. He was read very carefully by all the founding fathers, so his influence goes way back in American history. And yet today, even he's been referenced by Richard Nixon, Henry Kissinger,
sure.
Even other politicians more recently.
We've got the book, The Prince, that I'm sure you've studied a great deal, and you've looked at his quotes and things. As you look through this, what is it about him that has resonated so deeply?
Yeah, I've translated The Prince and studied Machiavelli's writings for about 30 years now. One of the things that I think is so crucial about Machiavelli is that he's the very first writer to say that for a government to do its job, for a leader to work out, there has to be an understanding that human beings are not the idealistic, good-doing people that we'd like them to be. Mm-hmm. That instead, if we begin from the worst assumptions, we can build actually a better, more practical government.
That's interesting. Based on that, we're going to take a look at Machiavelli managing a presidential campaign. Oh, how would that work in this world, in this campaign we're in?
Well, very interestingly, Machiavelli said that a leader needs to know not just how to be good, but how to be good and wicked. So there needs to be some way, even in our presidential campaign, for a candidate to show that he's able to push the envelope, to do something that's maybe breaks the rules or isn't unfair in some way that yet is not understood to be tyrannical and awful, but just something that shows a kind of gutsiness and a real desire to win.
Are we seeing candidates that perhaps more fit his mold?
I think the recent rhetoric in the campaign, in which they're all trading accusations of unfairness, is an attempt to do that. Mm-hmm. It's also, there's an old tradition of this in American politics,
sure,
so
sure.
Coming from both sides.
And we've seen it get worse and worse with each campaign. I guess when you look at Machiavelli, and we think of him as the anti-good guy, and all of the little quips that we may remember about him. What's the good part of it, though?
Well, this is really, as I was saying, to build from the worst assumptions is a very important thing for Machiavelli. He says at one point in The Prince that human beings are cruel, greedy, and untruthful.
And those are good things.
All right. Now, if we assume that, there are ways in which you can actually build maybe a better government, a better country. Think of the idea of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Think of the American Constitution. We take those qualities of happiness, all right, pursuit of happiness. That's not so different from saying that people can be greedy. On the other hand, we take away the idea of human beings being untruthful, because you can't lie on your income taxes and so forth. Mm-hmm. You get in trouble with the law. You've got to switch for it. Well, but we're not supposed to, and we accept that. And also, the Constitution forbids cruel and unusual punishment, and our society is very much less cruel than Machiavelli's was. Right. So Machiavelli set in motion the idea of building upon a worst-case assumption about human nature, mm-hmm. And what our founding fathers did was to play upon and create a kind of mix, allowing people to be greedy, but not to be untruthful and not to be cruel.
Do you think that perhaps we lose some of the value of Machiavelli because we aren't as big readers as we used to be?
Oh, that's fascinating. Machiavelli is actually read more widely today than he was 10, 20, 30 years ago. There are remarkable cases of people citing him. Most recently, the gangster rapper Tupac Shakur took Machiavelli as a kind of hero. So Machiavelli is in many ways I think he's now the best known, most read Renaissance writer
That's
more
interesting.
so than Shakespeare or Thomas More.
Why do you suppose that is?
He's a bigger presence in American culture, American popular culture, than those
Why do you
writers.
suppose that is? Is it because he's embraced the darker side? Is that why he's become more popular?
I think there's also a kind of uneasiness in our own culture. People are worried about losing their jobs, about random violence or terrorism, and Machiavelli appeals to that sense of unease and then offers us ways of trying to deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that perhaps we need to revise the way we think about Machiavelli in light of all that's happened now?
He shouldn't be seen as just a messenger of wickedness. Instead, he's a very serious man who's trying to make the world a better place.
Wow, interesting take. Doctor, always a pleasure. We'll look to have you back on other subjects.
Delighted to be here, Brian. Thank you so much.